Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to another mod spotlight, and today we are going to be looking at a placeable. Have you ever wanted to build your own farm, or wanted to take advantage of a pre-made kind of depot like this, which has everything you need to run a farm except storage for your crops? Well, worry no longer. We finally have potentially the most important mod to come to consoles. A proper placeable grain storage. So as you can see here, it's pretty cheap. It's only 25,000 euros. And when you consider that with a 210,000 litre capacity, you know, it kind of makes a mockery of the ones that Giants gave us, where 100,000 litres is going to set you 125,000 euros, you know, in debt. You know, this is very, very affordable, insanely affordable for a huge amount of storage. So let's have a look and see what it looks like in first person. So here is our silo, and you can see it's pretty big. You know, so it's going to limit where you can place it to a degree, depending on the collision mesh that's been put down in the area that you're trying to build in. But we've got space here, so let's drop one right here, like so. There we go, and let's make our way over and check out this mod. So let's see, can we climb these stairs? Not really. That's no big thing. So here is the mod. We have this sort of doors area here. These doors we can't interact with, I'm pretty sure. Let's turn on the help menu just to be certain. But I'm pretty sure that we can't actually interact with these doors. It doesn't look like it. We're not getting any prompts popping up whatsoever. So these are going to be permanently open. But this is our tip point here. And then above us, here is our downspout. So there's no marker, no little box on the ground. We'll have to obviously get used to doing this by sight when it comes to retrieving grain. And I'm not entirely sure whether or not this is independently connected. Well, whether this is connected to our main storage total, or whether it's, you know, an independent storage only. That is yet to be tested. I don't have enough grain, unfortunately, to be able to test that out. I only have a 210,000 litres. Well, it takes 210,000 litres, and the most I have of any one crop on this farm at the moment is 146. So I can't max it out and see whether or not it just keeps going over into additional storage elsewhere on the farm or not. I can't test that for you myself, unfortunately, not on this farm. The one farm I could test this on, which would be Big Bud Farm, I don't have enough money to be able to actually buy one of these silos. So I can't do that test for you there either, unfortunately. But please do let me know in the comments if you've been able to test it yourself, and whether or not this storage is completely independent, or if it does link into your main storage totals. But here it is. So yeah, it's a really nice looking mod. It's a really nice size as well. We're getting a lot for our 25 grand. We really are. I mean, it's a big old placeable. As I say, we are getting a grain tip and retrieval. So I suppose we should see those in action. So let's go grab some grain from our main farm storage, and let's tip it in and then retrieve it back. So here we go. We've got a trailer full of sunflowers here, 70,000 litres. Oh, it's a little awkwardly placed in terms of unloading the trailer. So that again is something you're going to have to be sort of aware of when you do put this thing down, is making sure you have space to tip in, because it is a sort of a side tip location like this. But let's just unload. See, we've just got clearance there. And all of that is pouring into our silo. So let's actually check our crop page, and you can see that the count is going up, so that would indicate potentially that it is linked to our main storage, although it may just be coded so that anything that's stored has its is added into the totals. I mean, you can add sugar beet into train cars on Goldcrest, and they start showing up in the storage there, and they're obviously completely independent, have a maximum storage. So I would imagine that these are completely independent, and once this thing fills up, that's it. You can't add more to it. I don't believe it'll overfill into the others. But there you go, you see it all being poured in there. So there's 70,000 litres in there. So now we're going to back up, and we're going to drive underneath the downpipe. And there we go, farm silo. Well, we seem to have lost, a litre somewhere. But let's tip that out. And again, you can see really nice animation. It's filling really nicely as well. If I drive to the side, you can see it kind of stops a little bit late, but it does stop. Let's try and get a little bit square with the rear of the trailer. There we go. See that animation again, nice and close now. And this is why I think this is potentially one of, is potentially the most important mod, not one of the most important mod, because for ages on console we have dreamed of creating our own farms, or even utilizing areas that have been kind of set aside as secondary farms. The West Coast map is coming out soon. It's been submitted for testing today, so whenever Giants put it into their testing queue and then work it, we'll then go through the testing and hopefully will be released in the next week or two. However, that has 6 farms. Only 2 of those actually have working silos. So in theory, you only really have 2 completely independent farms. The others are kind of little support places where you can store vehicles and maybe some bales and maybe a little bit of a particular crop. But you're going to have issues going forward, because if you want to store multiple grains, you need multiple buildings. With a silo like this, you can store wheat, barley, corn, canola, sunflowers and soybean. All your major grains can be stored in here. You can't store your root crops, so no potatoes, no sugar beets. You can't put in grass or TMR or silage, anything like that. It's literally just the grains, just like any standard Giants kind of silo on any map. But it's a really, really nice addition, and being so cheap, it means that you can take any location like this that has working sort of area where you've got sheds, we've got placeables here. All we need to do is add a silo. We even have a fuel pump at this location. So now, with the addition of this silo tank, this is now effectively a fully functioning farm. We've got places to store equipment and tools. We've got places to, fill our seeders and our fertilizers with. We've got a fuel tank for our vehicles, and we've got a grain tip and retrieve point for all of our crops as well. This really does change things so much for console players. It really, really does. Sandy Bay is another great example. You've got 2 farms on that map. You've got the one that everybody loves to use, which is the Sandy Bay farm, which is the main farm, way at the top of the map. Has everything. Has animals in and around the farm. Has loads of great storage space for vehicles, for tools, and equipment, and trailers, and so on and so forth. You could even store grain there in buildings if you wanted to. You've got a bale sell point, and you have a fully operational silo. Down at the bottom, and I believe it's Willow Farm is its name, is a secondary farm. and there's no silo there. So immediately that kind of prevents you from running that as a grain or arable farm unless you store it in buildings. With the arrival of this, you can now turn Willow Farm into a completely fully functioning farm by placing one of these, in or around the yard. Now you have a completely separate, independent farm with plenty of storage that isn't going to cost you multiple buildings for multiple crops. You've got one placeable here which can hold 210,000 litres of all of your grains. That's incredible. We've been waiting and praying and screaming and hoping and begging and all sorts to get our hands on something like this. And now we finally have one. So a big, big thank you to Blacksheep for bringing this out. Now, I believe that this is actually as part of the plans for the Valley of the Old Farm, is the reason that we have this. And there will be other placeables that they'll be releasing too, to go into their map. So you'll be able to build a yard from scratch with the placeables that Blacksheep are bringing to us here on console. Not just being able to put in a silo, but other things as well. There's a farmhouse currently in testing as well, a placeable farmhouse building. So there's all sorts of things that they are bringing that will allow us to completely scratch build a field into a fully functioning farm. That's why I think this is the most important mod to hit the console mod hub so far, because we've been wanting and praying and begging and screaming for a placeable silo so that we can make those custom farms and change the maps the way we really, really want to. And now we can. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you all very soon.